Well, good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to Tuesday night's edition of FSU Weather. We're going to start you off with a live look at Doak here. Not a cloud in the sky, 81 degrees and sunny as always. Take this episode, watch it in the great outdoors today. Temperatures around the rest of our area, it's 70s in some places like Valdosta, 77 in Apalachicola, but 80s for the most part here again. Tonight, we're going to dip down into the 60s, 50s in some places like Monticello and Thomasville, but great night to get outdoors. Not quite super cold, maybe a little cool, chilly, but we've got an update here in the tropics. We've got Melissa starting to kind of kick up here, pressure at 1,003 millibars, not quite too strong yet, just tropical storm at this point, but of course we'll keep you updated as we get closer. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the tropics here, as well as a cold front that's bringing some drier conditions and sky of the week. All this and more on FSU Weather. Well, welcome back to FSU Weather, and we're going to start off with a look at Tropical Storm Melissa. This is kind of the trajectories that it could take here. Not saying much of anything right now. We've got a lot of conflicting models at this point. It's a little too early to tell, but one thing that the models do agree on is that it's going to sit in place for a little while, just kind of hover there and strengthen over those really warm waters. As we take another look at Doak, again, we're getting closer to sunset here. We'll hit daylight savings time soon, I think. And again, 80s for the most part around Tallahassee. Beautiful night to go and get outdoors. This is your almanac. It's basically just telling us that the high is higher than the average high, the low is lower than the average low. That just means drier conditions. The higher or the lower the dew point is, the more of a contrast you're going to see from day to night here. And nothing is going to be stopping you in the way of rain. This is just a little bit of ground scatter. Nothing that's going to stick on the radar. As we take a look at this cold front that's going to make its way into our area here on Wednesday, it's going to bring a little bit of drier conditions. Not a lot of precip though, as you noticed. Just mostly passing clouds that are going to bring those cooler conditions, but boy, do we need the rain. This is our drought monitor. It's only gotten worse. We started off the year, I think, in a moderate, if that, drought or just a pretty dry conditions, whatever the yellow is up here. Red is what we're in right now. So this is pretty dry conditions. We've seen that in the Panhandle, not a lot of rain in the month of September at all. So we definitely need it, but putting our eyes back on the sky here, the Orionids meteor showers tonight, great conditions. I went out and saw it last night. It peaks from last night into tonight. It's a new moon. If you can get to an area of low light pollution, I would definitely recommend going out and doing it. It's debris from Halley's Comet. You should be able to see about 20 to 40 meteors per hour. Last night I went to Alligator Point. That's one good place to go. Another good place is the Astronomical Park here in Tallahassee, or just outside of Tallahassee. Taking a look at tomorrow, though, for your routine, if you're getting up to walk your doggo, it is going to heat up pretty quickly, and it was pretty cool this morning. We're going to see that again tomorrow. Layering weather here, but we're going to heat up into the 70s by 11 a.m. here. Tonight, we're going to dip back down into the 50s. Again, 50s for the most part, 60s in some areas. And tomorrow, you guessed it, we're going to heat right back up with those drier conditions. We're going to have those 80s right back here. 7-day forecast. It's going to be sun for a little while, but we do have some rain chances in the forecast. They're late weekend, early next week. We'll, of course, keep you updated as we get a little closer here, but some cooler temps in the bottom, 47 down there, 50s as well. That's exactly what we want to see. As we take a look around the rest of Florida, though, it looks like we're pretty clear up in the Panhandle here and somewhat so in Fort Lauderdale, but Tampa's got those nice puffy cumulus fields building in. They'll start to go away for the day here soon with that daytime heating. But as we take a look at our temperatures, 80s for the most part, with the exception of Pensacola here, 84 down in Miami, the warmest part. That checks out. As we take a look at our radar, we've got some pop-ups that are in South Florida right now, just those average Florida thunderstorms here, but we're all clear in the middle of Florida as well as the Panhandle here. Really just a great night to get outside and enjoy these drier conditions. It's exactly what we want to see. You can kind of see that cold front at the very beginning of this animation. It starts to make its way into our area sometime Wednesday, kind of rolling into Thursday. And then really not much else popping up in terms of rain for Florida here. We've got a lot of sun in the Sunshine State. And Miami is going to check that out too as well, 87, 86, 85. So on the cooling trend here, but Tampa, pretty similar conditions for the most part every day. That'll kind of give you an idea of what outfit you should pick. Day to day, it should really not vary very much. Orlando, 87, but then cooling down a little bit, still relatively warm and a lot of sun here. And then Jacksonville, we're going to see a first dip into the 70s here, but quite a bit of sun. Same thing with Pensacola here. We've got one dip into the 70s, but for the most part, we're seeing a lot of 80s here around Florida. Tonight, again, we're going to dip down 58 down in Gainesville. If you get that far south, that's a little bit cooler, but we are in October, so we're starting to see those cool temperatures start to make their way in. 80 down in Key West, 70s kind of pushing up that gradient for the most part in Florida. And tomorrow, we're going to heat back up. It's going to be in the 80s, 81 here in Tallahassee. Not high 80s like we have had lately, so that's something to be grateful about if you don't really like the heat here. But as we take a look around the rest of the southeast, we've got 67 as far north as Birmingham, which isn't too far north actually. I'm wondering if they're a little bit more of a rain-cooled area right now. It does say sun in Montgomery, but Birmingham I think is a little bit further north, if I am right. 81 here in Tallahassee. Again, you can kind of see that gradient push from New Orleans to Jackson. That is quite a bit of a temperature change in a short period of time, so that's that cold front. You can kind of see that start to make its way through here. So this is that line. Really not a lot of storms popping up, just a couple maybe in the Louisiana area. And then we're going to see that roll into the rest of the week here. And we should be left with some relatively high and dry pressure here. And then some storms that could potentially pop up into Friday as well. And as we take a look at the drought monitor here, this is the southeast. We've been on the drier trend here. We really do need some rain. It's been that way out west here, but the southeast has seen an acceleration in drought here, so we definitely need to see those rain chances make their way into our area. In terms of Charlotte, though, we're going to get that sunshine. These are going to be some really nice temperatures. I would love to be outdoors there in the next 4 days. Memphis, pretty similar story, a little bit cloudy there on Friday and some really cool temperatures at night, 47 degrees. New Orleans, going to be a little bit warmer. That's because you're closer to the coast here. A little bit of mix of rain and sun and higher lows for the most part. Tonight, we are going to cool down in the southeast, 47 as high as Nashville, or as low in Nashville up there. Tomorrow, heating up, it looks like 69 up in Nashville. That is some of the lows that we're seeing in places like New Orleans. So we've got a little bit of a mix of temperatures here in the southeast depending on where you are at, but overall relatively good temperatures to go and get outdoors. But as we take a look at the rest of the nation here, this is what we've got. Lots of areas of sunshine here, but you're starting to see that fall-like gradient blues all the way to reds. So we really are seeing that fall-like spread here. In terms of the alerts, there's really not much. There was some sort of frost advisory over Nebraska, Kansas earlier. That's kind of gone away now, so it's relatively quiet, but we've got wind advisory up here. Really not much else besides some coastal stuff with the gale warnings. Really not going to affect you even 10 miles from the coast. It's really just more if you are on the beach here. But if we look at the satellite, here's a big area of low pressure swirling up there, just bringing a lot of rain to parts of Michigan, going to be kind of parts of the northeast as it makes its way there. And you can see that cold front kind of wrapped around from it, making its way slowly but steadily towards us here in Tallahassee. If we take a look at California, they're all clear. We're all good there. If we take a look over in the northeast, we're seeing some more of that rain action as well, but not super heavy rain. We'll see if any severe stuff pops up. It's going to be up here in Ohio, just barely in Michigan as well, but for the most part, pretty non-severe. But if we take a look at day 3, this is where we could see a little bit more of a gathering. It kind of looks like a boomerang here, actually. That's kind of cool. Haven't gotten a chance to look at this yet, but we go. 72-hour rain forecast. This is what they could potentially see. This obviously checks out. This is that little boomerang that we were just looking at. So it looks like Oklahoma is going to probably get a lot of that available energy, maybe a dip in the jet stream that we could see that leads to this here. But For the drought monitor, like I said, the southeast has seen accelerated drought. Out west has been in drought, but they've stayed mostly the same here. I always touch on it. Arizona is the worst. North Dakota has been the best in terms of what I've seen this semester. And as we take a look at the future radar, this is going to, we'll see that rain kind of start to decide what it wants to do in here in the next couple of days. That low make its way out of our area. And then we've also got a landfalling low sort of over the next couple of days that's going to be bringing a lot of heavy rain to Seattle. In terms of tonight's temperatures though, 30s, 32 up in Bismarck. I would not want to be there. But 30s in as far south as Kansas City, so that is some cooler temperatures we are finally starting to see. That's why we're seeing those frost warnings pop up. Tomorrow we are going to heat right back up though, 49 up in Minneapolis. That is a little chilly and some rainy conditions there in Chicago, but still a lot of sun here for the southeast. That's what we tend to see, but this temperature outlook has changed quite a bit. A lot of warmer temperatures out west where we started to see the cool temperatures creep in here. The central plains has got a bit of a change, and the southeast as a whole is going to be on the cooler trend, so we will definitely take that as we roll in the next couple of weeks because we have just been begging for fall and it's not made its appearance yet. As we take a look at Trivia Tuesday, I think we've already talked about nor'easters here, but we're just going to go through the slides. It is a short cast list here tonight, and we're always having those hiccups here on FSU weather. We are going to, we're gonna give it just a sec, and I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking about with nor'easters. And they are cold core, not warm core. Okay, perfect. Maybe. Oh, look at that. It's fall. I'm back. Okay, Halloween is in 10 days. Hopefully you have plans for that. Veterans Day is in 21 days. I do have plans for that. I'm actually going to a concert. And then Thanksgiving is also coming up in the next couple of weeks here. But as we take a look at this, this is our sky of the week. This is the segment we planned to show you tonight. This is from Paul Belisario. That's Mila's dad. She's on FSU weather sometimes. This is a beautiful sunset at Park Ridge, Illinois. I believe that is just outside of Chicago, but as I always say, the Midwest sunsets are the best. Sorry to you guys here in the Southeast, but I mean, just take a look at the photo. It is, you know. Anyway, 7-day forecast. We've got a lot of sun coming up again, but again, those rain chances there for the weekend that we've got to deal with, and we will keep a look at the models. We will update you as we get closer to that. As always, lower lows, that is exactly what we want to see, those drier conditions, but make sure to follow us on X at FSU Weather and also like us on Facebook at FSU Weather. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. Subscribe if you are watching right now on FSU Weather and follow us on TikTok at FSU Weather. And here is